Good evening, everyone. I hope you are doing well. Welcome to the Magical Coffee Hour. I am Drake. First off, before we get started, I want to say thank you to all our veterans. It is Veterans Day, and we are grateful for your service and thank you for all you've done. All right. Honestly, enough can't really be said. Love you guys. Hope you got out there and enjoyed all the Veteran Day specials. Now let's see. Eden, welcome. Skilled, good to see you. Um, so a few announcements. We are building a locals community. Be sure to check us out over there. I put most announcements over there these days. I got a lot of people saying they're not getting announcements when they go through YouTube. So I don't know what's going on there. I'm trying to figure that out. But I am trying to make sure all announcements go over there. Also, we have a lot of locals only content we can't put on YouTube, as well as supporter content goes over at locals too, including there's workshops and classes that supporters get free access to automatically just because you're a supporter. And that includes you can attend it live if you're available, or you can catch the replay of it. So lots of goodies over there. If you're interested, and it's all for one price. It's not like there's different tiers or anything. It's like you get the whole shebang. Also, supporter monthly spell working. So mugs up to y'all. Thank you for your support. You supporters actually make it possible for me to do what we're doing these days. It's still interesting on the social media front. One thing is some people say I seem to be a bit more distracted on camera, and you're right. And let y'all in on a little secret as to why. It is getting fall. It's darker when I'm streaming. So I got pretty spoiled throughout the year. My office is very, very well lit and bright, and the lighting is honestly, if I have the shades closed, the lighting's almost perfect. So I have not actually had to stream or film with studio lights most of this year. And now that it's getting darker, I can't do that because if I come into the office, just turn on the overhead light, it is dark in here and I just like have this shadow cast over me. So yes, I'm slightly distracted because the studio lights are back on, and it is unfortunately a reminder that I am on camera and I'm having to readapt. Many of you know I'm petrified of cameras. I am terrified to be on camera. I chose a really weird career path, didn't I? But that's okay. I'll do it for y'all. We'll readjust. We'll get through it. Just bear with me. If I seem distracted or whatever, it's these damn lights. Next year, I might have to just leave them on just so I don't have to readjust come winter. Or we could just make the hilarities of laughing at me and the winter readjustment a thing on this channel. You never know. Okay, so hopefully everybody is doing well. I don't think we have a topic specifically for tonight, did we? Let me double check. If you guys got any questions, do let me know in the comments below. I'd appreciate that. Nope. So today we just wanted to say thank you to our veterans and service members. That's kind of one of the things. Though, on that note, part of the reason is many of you know I'm around a lot of service members and veterans. I have been most of my life, but it continues to be true because my wife is active duty. And naturally, I get a lot of questions. You know, how can I practice? How can I do my craft and stuff if I'm in the service, if I'm deployed, if I'm in a barracks room? And honestly and truly, it's not that difficult. Like, you don't need open flames and candles to do magic or to have a practice. Now, if you're in a specific religious based tradition, for example, that they absolutely demand it religiously, that's a different thing. But then again, that's a little weird and hokey in my mind too, because if you absolutely positively must have a candle religiously and you can't have it in your barracks room, then I mean, I'm that person that my view of spirituality and faith has always been, if I believe this, I'm going to make it happen without breaking the rules. So does that mean I might have to take a walk and go down to a park or an outdoor area, even in the freezing cold, to light a candle and do a prayer to my deity or my gods or the elements. Yes. But that's also something that I would have done and did back in the day before, I got off the religious side of it. That would have been something I would do, because there have been plenty of places where it's like, you can't light that candle here. Well, okay. So I'd find a way to do it without breaking the rules. That being said, minus that very strict and narrow area, you don't need those little objects and everything. You can easily have a practice with some meditation, some prayer. Check out the hailing ritual here on this channel. You can write a hailing ritual to any deity, and you can use that in a ritual. Hands down, one of my favorite rituals to do with any entity is to design a hailing ritual, set my space up. And for me, I usually use the Dragon's Flame ritual for just about any ritual these days, unless I'm doing a path working that calls for a specific opener, which is what happened when I did the Cliffothic path working and the Tree of Life path working for myself. They had specific openers, so I did use those. But outside that, for my private practice and most things in life, outside doing path workings, I will use the Dragon's Flame ritual, because dragon magic is kind of the backbone of really what I do these days. But even when working with the Norse, I will use the Dragon's Flame ritual more often than not. And then I will do my hailing rite to say a prayer, to thank the deity, to ask for their guidance, their wisdom. And then I will sit down, meditate, and enter trance, focused specifically on that entity. And I will take time, spend time in their presence, and just listen for wisdom. Is this a full evocation? No, it's not a full evocation, but this is a great way to get your meditation in, to relax and spend time in just the presence and the energy of that entity or that spiritual being. You could do the same thing with Jesus. You could do the same thing with Yahweh. You could do it with any thing. In fact, if you think about it, when Christians speak of prayer and meditation, they're really using this kind of format. It's kind of a thing throughout history. Practically every culture used it. They may have adjusted it a little bit, but you can definitely do it. Are the candles fun? Yeah, they're fun. I'll be honest. I got an oil lantern I love to use when I go camping, but I also use it for rituals as a flame. It's really easy to control. I may actually do a video and show that. But it's not needed. So do remember that. Same thing with incense. Incense is amazing. And I'll be honest with you, like, there's a lot of occult ingredients that stink. And like, my ritual room always used to have this funk if I wasn't doing rituals regularly. When I was doing rituals regularly, like, I was burning dragon's blood incense. So my ritual room just smelled like dragon's blood incense all the time. And I realized that funk was just from random weird herbs and stuff that people had given me or I had collected at different times in my practice, that I have never gotten rid of them. And it wasn't this last move. I think it's the move before last. I finally was like, you know what? I'm not using these. I'm getting rid of them. And I got rid of them. The funk disappeared. It just went away with them, because those things just smell funky. Is what it is, So incense can be fun, just like a scented candle can be fun. But they're not necessary. Just something to consider. If you are a veteran, if you are in the military active duty, if you're going on deployments, if you've got questions, hit me up. Shoot me an email at workingdragonmystic@.com. If you're in college and you need some problem solving tips, hit me up. Let me know. I want to say our Arcane Senses class even has it might have a video of a candle that you could even use if you want to use a candle to look at while you're doing your rituals. I know it's a video, it's not the same thing, but hey, that video is allowed in your barracks room, you know what I mean? So consider that. Let me know. If you got a question, I will try to solve it. I tried to hit on all the ones that I get asked the most here the quickest. Good evening, Quan Yin. Good to see you. Hidden Bull, don't forget. Yeah, I keep forgetting that crap. I'm sucky at social media. If you are here, if you are watching, hit that thumbs up button. It helps a lot with the algorithm. For whatever reason, our channel's not showing up in search results for a lot of people. Our videos aren't being pushed that much anymore. No one's really sure why. Analytics are still showing as good. It's just, I don't know. It's a weird one. I don't want to jump on any conspiracies, so I'm just going to Give us a thumbs up, help us out. Let's see. Megan, hello, good to see you. Fair warning, people, if you say something in emojis, I may not realize you're saying anything. I don't speak emojis. I look at them, I think they're cute, and I like them. This one, I think, is hello, smiling or happy with dragons. They like dragons. That's going to be what I think. Which I don't think that one's actually, but there's this thing of speaking with emojis, and I don't do it. I don't even text with emojis most of the time. The only person who gets an emoji from me mostly is my wife, and it's usually a kissy face. So she's the only one entitled to such. So if you are typing in here, be aware I might not get it. Just so you know. Not that I'm ignoring you or anything. Mathis, happy Veterans Day. Mugs up to the vets. Indeedy do. Mugs up to the vets. And yes, I'm drinking out of our Working Dragon Mystic Artistic Dragon's Eye Seal cup today. Actually enjoying a little Constant Comments tea from Bigelow. Don't know if any of y'all has had it. I like it. I usually drink like an oolong or an Earl Grey or something, but occasionally I like this, especially in the winter. It just gives me that holiday vibes, if that makes any sense. Let's see. Aiden, I'm trying to do my practice with as little tools as needed until it will help develop something faster. I prefer to not let it become a crutch. Flame is a fun tool for magic. See, Eden, I don't know if you picked that up from my channel, because that's something I've said a lot. Tools can be a crutch. They can help. They do have a place and a purpose. So, obviously, but yeah, I'm with you. Like, I'm literally at that point in my practice, unless it's a necessity for, there's certain rituals in dragon magic in the higher tiers where it's a necessity. Especially in Dragon Magic 103 and 104, their tools become a necessity in that tier of Dragon Magic. Otherwise, I'm trying to literally step down and not use any components or tools, because I'm trying to build me up as a magician. Can they be helpful at starter? Yeah, in some cases. In fact, most of my students, which I've said this before on the channel, I think, I actually try to get them to learn as tool-free as absolutely possible. I try to get them to try everything without tools first before we start adding them in so they can develop. It's just one of those things, because if you learn to do it without the help, it's all the better. But that's not to say that tools don't have a position or a place, right? Also, they can be fun. That's a good. Okay, so somebody knows what I'm talking about. I've met so many people where I mention it and they're like, "What the crap is that?" And it's like, it's the red one. Pick up the red one. Don't pick up the red one with the green slash on it. That's caffeine free. We don't do caffeine free in this house. We're jacked up on caffeine all the time around here. No, the magician is the spell. Like, it is the spell. Like, there are certain rituals that in Dragon Magic, for example, where the energy coming down, the only tool that is necessary is your Dragon Magic tool, which helps balance out those energies that are coming down in a massive way. Most people start, well, actually, I've never seen anyone starting Dragon Magic 103 doing it correctly that can handle that slamming into them. Even professional magicians who's been doing it for 50 years definitely feel the fatigue and the slamming. But in 103, with practice and training, you can definitely get away from the necessity of the tool. So far, I've not found that true of anyone yet with 104. So I'm still like, I'm waiting to see. Unfortunately, the sample size for 104 is still, I don't think we've hit 20 people for the sample size at 104. So still a pretty small pool of samples, unfortunately. But I'm sure we'll get there. Okay. Vlad. Okay, this is a hard one for me. I apologize. I'm going to call you Pencak. Um, he says, greetings from Siberia. Amazing channel. Thank you very much. I'm so glad you're enjoying the channel. And welcome. You might be the first person who said hi from Siberia. Might be. That is pretty cool. Anyone who thinks it's cold, I think it's probably colder there, from what I've heard. Is that Vladislav? Would that be close to correct? Vladislav? I'm sorry, it bothers me. I try to pronounce things. I really do. Vladislav. So I think that's it. I like that name. That's a cool name, actually. If I mispronounce it, I do apologize. You all know my southern twang. It does make it hard for me to pronounce some things sometimes. So, I do the best I can. Mathis, I've never really used tools. If you get into Dragon Magic, you'll need your Dragon Magic tool for some of the later stuff. But you can get through the entirety of 101 without the tool. In fact, the making of the tools at the very end of 101, because you can do the whole thing without it. But you need the material from 101 to actually start making it and to ready yourself for 103, not 102. You can actually get into 102 and even do your 102 work without the tool. 103, it's a must. But it's such a long process to create it, because it's not like your standard one where you just pick it up or you go bless it under the moon. To create the first part, just the first part of the Dragon Magic tool, is going to take you anywhere from 5 to 6 months, if I remember correctly. And I'm talking daily work. It's intense. Did my internet just go out? Nope, there it is. It said I was disconnected and reconnected. Huh. Okay, so the chat is continuing, so at least that's going to be cool. At least I know that's feeding back in. Literally just said that's a cool name. It is. It is. It's absolutely a cool name. Let's see, Mathis, that is the right pronunciation, least from an English standard. LOL, not criticism. But he's in Siberia, not so. Oh, sorry. Yep. He is in Serbia, not Siberia. I completely misread that entirely. My apologies. See, people, I make mistakes. I'm an idiot. Told you all I'm an idiot. So, Serbia, completely different. My apologies on that one as well. Thank you, Mathis, for pointing that out to me. I'm really glad you corrected that. I would have felt stupid. Like, I oftentimes go back and rewatch these to see, certain questions and try to make notes when I can. So I would have felt dumb as shit when I saw that. Or my luck is my wife already saw it. And she's already got it on a Post-it waiting to get me. Let's see. So thank you. The tool on my current path seems to be energetic in nature and bound to physical objects once created it. The tool on my current path seems to be energetic in nature and bound to physical objects once created it. That makes sense. Let's see. You pronounced it correctly. Woo! I got one, people. Just to clarify. Yep. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for pointing that out. Yes. And if I misread something like that ever, don't hesitate to correct me. Please don't hesitate to correct me. My ego is practically non-existent. Let's be honest. In truth. So you guys are more than happy to point out I misread something it's happened plenty of times on here, and the correction did change the answers sometimes. Sometimes I'll misread a question. So it's nice to know you guys have my back on those. Let's say Mathis, I've started Dragon Magic 101, but haven't got to the staff yet. We talk about the tool somewhere around the Guardian Co-Magician. We talk about it as in to start thinking about it, but the actual, like the full ritual to create, it's not till the very end. So don't worry. No, it is an easy mistake. I agree. But man, there are some people that fly off the handle when you mispronounce things. I tell you what. Internet can be a weird place. It can definitely be a weird place. Arch Dragon, good to see you. Glad you can make it. Mugs up. I did get a funny email this weekend. So y'all might get a chuckle out of this, especially the longtime viewers. I was actually asked why my thumbnails have a skull and a parrot on the Magical Coffee Hour. And what that has to do with Magical Coffee Hour or the occult. It has not occurred to me how long it has been since anyone has talked about my thumbnails and why they look the way they look. So I had to explain to this individual. I was like, well, to be honest, I'm not 100% sure, except if you watch my earlier videos, you will see I was filming in front of my bookshelf. And I realized that wasn't sustainable as much as we move. But on that bookshelf, I had one or two skulls because I use them as bookends. And for whatever reason, my friends decide when they want to buy me a knickknack, it's going to be a skull. I don't know why. Because I had one skull that I got when I was like 14, 16. It's way back before 2000. And essentially, I bought it as a Halloween decoration to prank my sister and scare her with it, right? That was it. And after the prank and after she threw her fit, threw a few things at me, I was having a good time. It was a great Halloween. I had set it on a table in my bedroom, and I just forgot about it. And it sat there, it was well into Christmas before anybody commented on it. And I literally said, oh, that's Bob. I just randomly, back in the 80s, 90s, if you don't got a name for it, it's Bob. And that was just Bob the Skull. And my friend Hub latched on to Bob the Skull. So I didn't throw it away. It was just like this running gag. So for whatever reason, I've just had Bob the Skull. And at one point, we did get another skull to put on a Christmas tree because we was essentially doing a Gothic Christmas tree for spite reasons one year, just for fun. So we kind of got that and stuck it on there. But like I said, outside that, I've really never, it's just people buy them for me. And I try to keep gifts. And I have actually found a use for them in my magical practice instead of them just sitting around the house. So the skull is named Bob. And apparently there's a book of, there's a series of books where there's a Bob the Skull too. So no, I didn't get it from the books. Apparently the books didn't start publishing till way after we got Bob the Skull. So it's just been an ongoing joke in the family. And everybody just got a laugh out of Bob the Skull. And we even had Bornoldus voice him for a read on our online school ad once. A lot of people had fun with it. And the parrot. The parrot people, most people don't realize this. I am a parrot head. I love Jimmy Buffett. I love his music. It's been one of those musics. I go to his music when I need to relax, unwind, decompress. It's just, there's never a time in my life when I can't listen to Jimmy Buffett. Most other musics, I love a lot of music. I really do. But Jimmy Buffett's just always that go-to, anytime comfort, lift your spirits music for me. Okay. And So I am a parrot head, and many of you know someone once gave me this little parrot, which actually sits on my desk. And they got it to me because I actually ran a D&D character based off of Jimmy Buffett in their game, and he had a parrot familiar named Ace. So the parrot is Ace, and yeah. So my viewers actually just fell in love with Bob and Ace, so I started sticking them on my thumbnails for a while, and that's that's why my thumbnails have a parrot and a skull on them. Doesn't really have a whole lot to do with anything, but for those who wondered and emailed me, that's why I have a parrot and a skull on my thumbnails. That's Bob and Ace. They're kind of the mascots of the channel. And many of you probably got friends with running gags and stuff like that too. And I like this channel. I like this that this trend beverage. Aiden, I like that this channel attracts chill people. I do too. I really do. I think I have an amazing community. There have been a lot of times over the last few years where I have seen people diving into a panic and a tizzy over anything and everything, right? And I got to say, for by and large, my community, you guys have been able to calmly and rationally voice any concerns. If you asked me for any thoughts, I would give my thoughts, and everybody was chill about it. We have a very chill community, and I appreciate that in my community. I really do. Let's see, Mathis, you've actually mispronounced my name, but I honestly don't mind. So feel free to continue. Oh, that's good. Huh. I'm trying to figure out how I would pronounce it. Would it be Matisse? Would that be it? Maybe? No, that can't be it. Oh well, I'm glad you don't mind me. I'm glad. You've been around so long. I don't know if I could change it now. You're practically family around here. I think everybody recognizes you. You're actually, I'd have to go back and double check, but I think you're also one of our longest running supporters. I really do. So, mugs up to you, Mathis. See, Vladislav recalled that at the start of your spiritual work, you encountered a man who was captured by the camera, yet none of the people around you could see him. Have you ever found out who that person was? Okay, yes. So weirdly enough, he wasn't captured on the camera. The incident was captured on camera. Like when you're looking at the camera, because you see me talking to someone, you see people walking around someone, but on the security camera, there's no one there. And when we pull other people into the security office, that they can describe the person. Every person's describing this person, but he's not on the camera. And yeah, for the longest time, I just never thought about it. And many of you on this channel know that for the longest time, you guys have asked, did I ever find it out? And it's like, no, I should check this. I should check this. And I was just so flipping busy that I really didn't do it. Right. I have a list of things that I should do if I have free time. I have that list. And this was actually one of the things on that list. Now, when my goddaughter passed away recently, one of the things that hit me and hit me hard when I was doing my ritual work, saying my goodbyes to her and that kind of stuff, was the impression to relax, the impression to actually take time instead of constantly working 24/7 for everyone else, start doing a bit of things for myself. And so I have actually started to do that. And one of the things I did was actually, let's see if I can find an answer to this question. because I was in that kind of holding pattern, waiting for answers, trying to figure out funeral arrangements, all these things. Anybody who's ever done that, it's a maddening period. You want to stay busy. Um, so yeah, this is actually one of the things where I did finally take the time to reach out and answer that question. And though I do not have a true name to this particular dragon at this point, I do suspect. But I do know that it was indeed one of the dragons that was attempting to get my attention to dragon magic. For whatever reason. I don't know the full scope of that reason yet. Did they know that I was going to take to dragon magic well? Did they know I was going to go beyond Conway's works to where I could do what I'm doing and share the current path workings and teachings? Maybe. I mean, they're definitely a hell of a lot smarter than I am. I don't know if I would have bet on me, but maybe. But yeah, it was actually a dragon. I am still trying to track down the exact. I have a suspicion on one of the rulers. I have a suspicion, but I have to confirm it before I accuse. That's the best I can do for you, Vladislav. I'll be honest with you. Part of me actually thought it might have been Odin as well, because Odin has a very unique way of pointing you the direction you need to go, not necessarily the direction he wants you to go. So Odin has guided me in a lot of ways well before I worked with him. So because of me finding out that he had done those things, I actually kind of suspected him. So I was a little bit, I don't know if you'd say let down, but I was so sure it would have been him. It was like, dang it, I was wrong. So, take that for what it's worth. Hopefully though, I do have some free time coming up. I'm going to kind of revisit and check on that. See if I can track down exactly the dragon specifically, because if it's not one of the rulers, I want to have a chat with them. I want to meet them. I want to talk with them. If it is one of the rulers, I still want to talk with them about it. I got questions like, did you seriously have that much faith in me? Or were you just like finding humans to practice dragon magic and hoping one of us would do well? I got questions. That's me. I'm a questions guy. But if it's, like I said, if it's a new dragon I've never met before, I want to get to know him. I want to know the dragon that was so bold to take a chance on me. I want to know them. I need to meet this dragon. Even if they don't like me, I need to meet them. That's just my 2 cents for what that's worth. But yeah, that's still one of the coolest freaking events in my life. It really is. Drake dropping channel lore. Well, I mean, when people ask me questions, I mean, I get some amazing emails from y'all. I really do. Like, I've been asked what beard oil I use. I mean, people want to know what you do, yeah, so it's a little weird because I've never thought of myself in any kind of a, well, you all know, I don't even think of myself as a content creator or what's the word? Influencer. I think that's the word they use. Is it influencer? So it's weird to think that people look up to me and people like actually want to know how I do things, because I still just see me as a crazy redneck who practices magic and is willing to talk about it and share in hopes that you can take what I've learned and go further than I ever will. And maybe you can avoid the potholes that I fell into so that your trip is a bit smoother. That's just kind of why I do what I do. Let's see. Let's see. Drake dropping. I've often wondered about that parrot. See, people think. Let's see. He's been here a long time. Yeah, he has. He really has. Mathis, you are special to this channel. You really are. I want to say you were even around when Linda was here. And like Linda, like she got Magical Coffee Hour started before her schedule just got to, she couldn't do it no more. She can't do it no more. And so for those wondering, no, Linda's not coming back. But she's also the one that taught me that I could get on stream live and answer questions. And she taught me that my followers actually do enjoy talking to me. So honestly, without Linda, Magical Coffee Hour wouldn't exist. So Linda, wherever you're at, hopefully you're doing well. Looks up to you. Good evening. I relate so badly to that. I will get around to this eventually. Trademark. Yeah. I put things down on a list, and I procrastinate on a lot of things. I do make time for me, but then there's a list of things. Like my private research, honestly, has been backlogging because I do more for like the channel and things than I do for my private research these days. And my goddaughter Tina, that's one of the things she always would get on to me about. She really would. So I'm trying to do better at all those things. In fact, I actually slept outside last night just to make sure to test the bedroll. And the bedroll testing went amazing. So I'm very happy with the way that turned out. Which I am still planning to do a video on the bedroll and talk about it and everything. So don't worry for those of you who are awaiting it. I just wanted to actually put it through its paces before I actually say, hey, here's this. Relaxation is vital. It allows us to be ourselves. Indeed. My problem is I actually enjoy working. Like half the time I will work to relax. It's weird, but I think that's one reason I've had trouble actually creating videos with topics though, is like her words are hitting me hard. And it's like, I do have a lot of stuff I need to do. And I can get on here and I can talk magic in live streams pretty easily. But as far as sitting down to fully flesh out a pre-recorded video to upload, that's gotten really, really hard because that's like a huge time suck from most things. And now that we're transitioning, well, forcefully transitioning to a format because algorithms and stuff, maybe I will have more time to get more me time and focus on my stuff. So, and don't get me wrong, I do not regret one bit any time I've spent on this channel because it's helped so many people. So let me be clear on that. I do not regret any of it. Okay. Let's see. See, Smallbean, most of my why me question to dragons get answered by why not. Yeah, I mean, in all honesty, I understand that, Small. I really do. One thing that I have learned from working with multiple groups of entities and pantheons is we have this concept of this why me, and we forget that life isn't supposed to be a paradise. Life is supposed to be challenging. It's supposed to be hard. It's supposed to have roadblocks. It's supposed to have bumps. It's supposed to have craters. We are meant to fall. We are meant to get injured. Those all accompany with lessons and learning, and wisdom can come along with those. And it is difficult. And we are put with stresses and pressures that are meant to be overcome. So the why not makes a lot of sense because why not? You're a person. You have every right to grow and to excel as any other person. The question is, what are you going to do with the situation you're handed? And that was a hard one for me early on. That was a very hard one for me to grab. And procrastination is definitely, when I was younger, I had a problem with it on a few things. And I'm noticing generations after me are having a larger problem with it in a lot of things. So, it's an interesting thing. I will say this for those supporters, or even if you're not a supporter and you're looking forward to the Fae course, many of you know we've started rolling out the Fae course over at Locals. And the first few videos, everybody can see to kind of get a look-see in. But as we actually get into the path working, it will be supporter only at first. But the thing is, like, there's the queens have made it very well known to me and the individuals who are path working through it, because we're actually going to show someone path working through it as we do it, so you actually can see someone actually going through it, not just you going alone blindly. Procrastination's not an option. So I would say if you want to bet on yourself and you want to break procrastination habits, consider checking out both of those fake horses, because there's no wiggle room on them. There isn't. There's no wiggle room. And I have often found in my life, if I have a problem, if I have a habit, I just have to dive in. Just dive in and break it. I think that's one reason I do so well with carnivore, because I had so many food addictions, not just habits, I'm going to call them addictions, that just diving in full bore on carnivore and saying, this is what I'm going to do, even though I tripped and fell and, didn't stay on the wagon the whole time. By ratcheting it down so tightly, it literally helped me break all of my food addictions, all of them. For those who don't know, I was a bread junkie. Like, I could sit down and eat a loaf of bread. I really could. That was just, I loved bread. With butter, without butter, it didn't matter. I just loved bread. And when it came to sandwiches, I'm in heaven. So, like, if I had been religious around sandwiches, Norval Rogers would have probably been my saint. But I had an addiction to those things. Luckily, sugars weren't really my addiction. I was never a big sweets addict. There were a few of them, though. No bake chocolate oatmeal, like drop style cookies. I'll kill an entire basket of those. Don't put those in front of me. But it helped me break those addictions. Like, I have not actually genuinely thought to myself, I want bread in forever. So that's been one of those things. And I find applying that in respects to my life has always been a big help too. If I just have something, I just try to go full bore and see what I can do with it, succeed or failure, because it teaches me a lot about myself no matter what. No matter what. But I will also say, you notice I say succeed or fail. Be aware when you dive in, you want to learn. Even if you fail, you want to learn about yourself. Like I said with the carnivore, I fell off the wagon many times, but every time I was learning something about myself. And every time I jumped back in full bore, I kept learning more and more and more. And here I am in my 40s, and I feel better now than I've felt most of my life. Mental clarity for certain. Are there certain parts of me that aren't? Yes, because I've done plenty of damage to my body through years